Welcome to GameThinkTalk Live. We're going to be talking about the week's news in gaming, is what we're really going to be doing. And my name is Matthew Falvey from a90skid.com, where you can check out news, opinions, reviews. We do lots of streaming here. We do all kinds of stuff here. And I'm glad you're with me. Fenkin Dreamer, thanks for popping in. We're going to be talking about, first off, EA. Everybody's pissed off at EA. Everybody. Remember how that was a big thing a long time ago, and then it kind of went away. Now it seems like it is back in full force. People are pissed at EA. Why? Well, they've outdone themselves. Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been coming out. Well, is in the process of coming out, and people have found out that at least two of their very favorite characters are going to be locked behind walls where you either need to earn enough in-game currency to unlock them, or of course you can pay a little bit of money to unlock them a lot faster. Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, and if you're a big Star Wars fan, that's probably why you buy the game. Now, some beta testers, some beta players have said that, judging by their estimates, it should take about maybe 60 hours, roughly, to unlock Luke and Vader. EA is saying that was the beta. Those times are scheduled to change. But they didn't actually say that in any kind of official context. So when people were pissed about that, having to, say, play 40 hours to 60 hours to unlock these characters that they want to play, here was EA's response in Reddit. And this became the most downvoted Reddit comment of all time. 379,000 times downvoted. EA says the intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and the other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch, among other things. We're looking at average per player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure the players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the communities put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon as often as we can. This became the comment that was downvoted 379,000 times. So EA isn't really saying anything. They're saying that they've done a whole, you kind of get a glimpse into the huge machine that comes that powers all this data that they have for all these loot boxes. When they say things like initial values based upon data, other adjustments per player credit earn rates daily basis, blah blah blah. This tells me that they're significantly putting resources into making sure that these loot boxes, these microtransactions, these are designed to be the most psychologically profitable. And of course, it's a business. They make games. Obviously, they need to make money, but why gamers are obviously pissed is so simple, is because the contract they assumed was that we're going to pay you money, $80, $90, however much a game costs, and then we're going to get that game, the gameplay. And this isn't a free-to-play game, so why are people unlocking these things? When you use the Star Wars license to bring people in, which is what they're obviously doing, it's one of the biggest licenses in the history of licenses. It will almost always do well until you screw it up so bad. And EA is 5 years into a 10-year deal now, but I don't even think EA could screw this up in 10 years' time. They'll keep making it, and they'll keep making money from it. But when you use Star Wars to sell a game, and then you lock two of the most iconic parts of Star Wars, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, behind any kind of unlock, whether it's 10 hours, whether it's 20 hours, those characters should be in there. If you look, Tekken 3 from the PlayStation 1 way back, they gave you half the roster of characters, and every time you beat the game with one character, you got another one. But there was enough in the beginning to play with, and these were all the more regular characters. The ones that you unlocked were things like a bear and like a wood training dummy that fought with different styles and different characters. Brian, one of my favorites in Tekken 3, but there was enough there. So this is very, I mean, the proof is there. 379,000 downvotes. That's accounting for upvotes, by the way. So that doesn't just mean 379,000 downvotes. That could be 400,000, for example, downvotes, and then 21,000 upvotes. Right. So, like I said, EA they signed a 10-year deal with Disney for. Oh, hey there, Alan. How are you? And Fenkin Dreamer, good to know that you're improving that art style. And yeah, you're busy. Great. Jeremy B's here as well. So EA is 10. They have a 10-year deal with Disney, and they're 5 years in on this deal. We've seen Amy Hennig's game, the Uncharted meets Star Wars, for lack of more knowledge, is gone and is going to be turned into more of a. They want games as a service, and you see this with Battlefront. They want multiplayer games that have people buying packs. They've seen what's happened with Grand Theft Auto 5, that it is still one of the best-selling games every single month for years because people buy. They buy it to keep playing online. It keeps attracting new people to play this game, which is really amazing. And people are buying this stuff. And it's if you've ever heard the term whale, a whale is somebody that is such a good customer that they keep a business going, really, or they're just such a high percentage, hundreds of percent or 1,000% more than your average person. Whereas, so like, we have a lot of people on our Discord that play Orcs Must Die Unchained, and they can play that. Like Corey says, he plays it with no microtransactions at all. He doesn't buy anything. He just unlocks things. So Jeremy B, loot boxes, ugh, he's not a big fan. Alan says, I actually like what they're doing. It takes back to old school games where you have to actually play to win. However, I think 40 hours is a little steep. That's interesting. That you have to play to win. Sure, but then when you have the same ability that somebody can just pay for it, well, then you end up with, by that logic, a pay to win. I mean, like I said before, if you're going to be, I'm all for things being hidden. You only need a certain amount of moons to beat Mario Odyssey, but there's a lot more things you can go and spend a lot of time working on. All the RPGs that we see on this channel and talk about on this channel, there are gigantic enemies that you would never be able to beat unless you put in tons and tons of hours. And that's an optional thing. But I think in this case, why people are pissed is that when you say Star Wars, Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader are two of the most iconic names attached to that franchise. So you're selling it on that name. You're selling it on be Darth Vader, be Luke Skywalker. Here's some videos about you playing as them. And then when you lock that behind something that would take any amount of time, really, is I think that's just disingenuous to the consumer in terms of how you're marketing it. If you wanna tell people that, hey, play 40 hours and you can play as like Forlom and Zuckus and all these are names of the bounty hunters that are standing on the Super Star Destroyer in Empire Strikes Back. That's great. Like little extra things like that. Unlock C-3PO. Unlock, Admiral Akbar. Not Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I think that's why people are pissed, and I think that's why it's not fair. Also, a big problem with Battlefront that I've had with 1 and 2 and a lot of online shooter games, and this pertains to what you're talking about, Alan, is that when you play these games, if you compare it to Overwatch, the first time you ever play Overwatch, your character is just as strong as somebody who has played 1,000 hours of that. So, and that to me is fair, and that's the only way you can really make it competitively balanced. I don't play a lot of MOBAs, and maybe Alan, you can fill me in on that, but I'm assuming that you don't make your characters stronger through how many games you've played. All that progression happens within the game. But with Battlefront 1 and 2, people that the longer they play, the stronger their weapons are, the stronger their power-ups are, and it ends up making a very how can that be competitive? It's still a competitive game, but it's not a balanced way to play. So Jeremy's saying that would be okay, Alan, but you can turn around and actually buy it for sure. Yeah, that's what we're talking about with that play to win becoming a pay to win. And Alan's saying, yeah, so start with a few free heroes, then unlock others through the 40 hours of gameplay. For sure. It's unlock the characters that are fun bonus Easter egg people. Unlock Princess Amidala's body double. Unlock Jimmy Smits, whatever character he played. Bail Organa. What a weirdo. All right, so moving on. How neat would it have been if somebody else had that 10-year deal? What if Sony had it? What if Microsoft had it? Or if they just went back to the way they had done it before, where individual studios license out games. So you could have Bethesda could make a, like a Fallout, reskin it with Star Wars, or like we saw Microsoft making that Age of Empires. Basically, it's the Age of Empires engine with Star Wars sounds and visuals pasted over top of it, and it was fantastic. But it's not going to go that way. EA is very good at getting, they're very good at getting monopolies. They've got a hard clamp on NFL, NHL, Star Wars. Anything else do they have? Probably basketball, I would imagine. Anyways, hey, here's some deals coming out. Xbox Black Friday deals on November 16th. Your first month of Xbox Live Gold will be just $1. So, Jeremy B, I'm going to add you on Xbox, but I'm going to wait until November 16th, and I'm going to buy that for $1. Maybe they still give out free games for the 360. I'm sure they do. That's for new subscribers only, by the way. And you get access to that free Games with Gold program. And that it gives you up to 4 a month for Xbox One owners. On November 17th, Xbox Games Pass subscription will be, you guessed it, $1 for the first month. And then it goes up to the $10 a month. November 21st, you can buy a custom controller from Microsoft. It'll be just $75 plus other services and shipping. And that's $15 off the regular price. On November 23rd, Microsoft is going to launch another Black Friday. This is sort of their big piece of the pie. Xbox One S 500 gigabytes, $189. So that's a really cheap way to hop into the Xbox One marketplace if you don't care about Pro. But I think, man, now it's... I mean, if you have a good TV that's not 4K and you have no interest in buying a new TV in quite some time, then probably no interest in getting an Xbox One X or a PS4 Pro. But man, if you're also in the market for a new TV, and new TVs are pretty cheap now. You could probably get a 4K TV for like $500 or less, really, if you just like take a good look around. Speaking of Xbox, the Xbox One X in the UK outsold the PS4 Pro in its initial sales weeks. It got up to 80,000, overtaking PS4 Pro, who sold about 50,000 in that same stretch, and tied the Nintendo Switch in that region at 80,000 as well. I mean, that makes sense. The PS4 Pro is neat and all, and it has some upgrades, some 4K gaming and some HDR, but the Xbox One X is a beast in console terms, relatively speaking. Hey, if you're a fan of Super Smash Brothers, the Super Smash trademark has been filed by Nintendo. This could mean a new game. This could mean one of those like Wii U Deluxe ports. Since we haven't heard anything about the Deluxe version, like we've heard about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Splatoon 2, which is kind of a sequel. It's more like a 1.5. I think this could mean a new game. So we should expect to see that. And I think the Switch is a really good platform for a new Smash Brothers because you have the Joy-Cons right there. And it's a game that can be easily controlled with just a few buttons. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has been placing cheaters in some kind of cheater queue. There was a cheater who uses an aimbot in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. And they were complaining on Reddit, I believe, that after they had used their aimbot, there were significantly longer loading times for their next matches. So whether they're putting them into like a special queue to sort of review their activity and see if they are actually cheating, or whether they are putting them, maybe they're just going to put them with other cheaters. Who knows what they're doing, but I like that. I like the PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is doing everything they can. I mean, it was such a small developer and is now one of the biggest games in the world, the biggest in many genres, actually. And if you just look at Twitch numbers and first-person shooters, it's the biggest. So small team, big game. They're doing the best they can. It's still early access, but it's good to see that they're taking great steps towards cheaters. Alan is saying, I would feel like the PS4 Pro is more competitive with the Xbox One S rather than the S. That's actually a really good point. The Xbox One S is that sort of little minor step up, just like the PS4 Pro is. But I guess Microsoft just has they're more interested in wowing people with power, and there are a lot of people that are going to want to have the most powerful system, especially if they're coming from, say you don't have either of them, and you're trying to make your decision. You know, that could be a big deciding factor if you're not too fussed about some of the exclusives that Sony has on their side, and you're going to play a lot of the multi-platform games. You're probably going to go for the one that looks like it's future-proofed. I probably would if I wasn't, say, like a fan of Uncharted and The Last of Us. I would have gone with that one. But now that you can grab an Xbox One S for $189 on Black Friday, well, you could almost have all the consoles. All right, Wolfenstein DLC. You're not going to be playing as BJ Blazkowicz. You'll instead be using different characters for each DLC. Now, November 7th was the launch of Episode 0. That was included with pre-orders or season passes. The Adventure of Gunslinger Joe is going to come out December 14th. As a former professional quarterback, Joseph Stallion smashed through Nazi hordes from the ruins of Chicago to the vastness of space. So Wolfenstein fully embracing that weird and wacky tone shift. January 30th, we'll see the diaries of Agent Silent Death. As agent and assassin Jessica Valiant infiltrate Nazi bunkers in California and discover the secrets of Operation San Andreas. San Andreas. Maybe we'll have some silent, cheeky nods to Grand Theft Auto. Who knows? March 2018 is going to see the amazing deeds of Captain Wilkins, as the U.S. Army's renowned hero Captain Gerald Wilkins embark on a mission to Nazi-controlled Alaska to dismantle Operation Black Sun. That could be kind of fun up there in the snow, watching Nazis be cold, maybe strip their Nazi uniforms off and watch them freeze to death. That's those are sort of the main things I wanted to talk about in terms of gaming news coming out. Did anybody have any thoughts or any questions or anything they wanted to bring up? What do we got here? Yeah, so on the channel, as a little update there, I mean, we've been playing Legend of Dragoon, Final Fantasy X-2, and we've been playing Assassin's Creed 2. We've got Lost Odyssey coming up soon. I'm thinking we'll probably stop playing Final Fantasy X-2. It's I just have not had very much fun with it at all. I think the combat system was changed for the worse. It's too fast to use strategy. I don't find the story cohesive. I don't find the jokes funny. If anyone out there has had fun with this game, that's great. I'm really happy for you. I don't think any less of you, and I don't want you to think any less of me. But you can do whatever you want because I don't care. But I'm not digging it, and I think it's time to move on. I think we'll start playing some Lost Odyssey now that I have my Xbox 360, my first ever 360 in 2017. Xbox is putting out 3 versions of their new console, and I'm buying one of the old ones. Jeremy, Alan, Fenkin Dreamer, how are you guys doing out there? Anything else catching your eye in the gaming world? Looks like that seems to be the big one. Anyway, is anyone interested in getting an Xbox One X? Is that I think at this point, if I was going to get an Xbox One, would I get an Xbox One X or an S? I'm a cheap gamer, so I would immediately lean towards the S. I would probably look and see, well, what kind of games is there a point for me to get an Xbox at this point? At this point, and I was talking to I believe it was Jeremy in the Discord about this, and I've mentioned it before. I have a PC, so most of the exclusives that Xbox has are I'm sorry, I was reading Alan's line there. I'll just finish my thought and then I'll get to what Alan's saying. If I can remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yeah, exclusives. Microsoft making their exclusives also available on Windows really makes no sense for me. Why would I don't see the reason to get an Xbox. I like the controller. I like the system. I like their UI. I like their online marketplace. But if I want to play Cuphead, I could play that on a computer. If I want to play Forza, if I want to play Gears of War, and these aren't franchises that I've ever really been drawn to or have played before, but if I want to play them, they're available on PC. So what is the point of getting an Xbox if you have a PC? I understand why Microsoft is. I see some of the benefit of why they're making these games available on the PC and the Xbox, but to me, you're just killing the reason for anyone who already owns a gaming PC to buy an Xbox, because why would they do that? They'd be better off if in terms of how many more games they'll be able to play, which is kind of the point of buying a video game console, they'd be way better off buying a Switch or a PlayStation and filling in those gaps there. I'll address this one first. Alan's saying I don't have a 4K TV, so it'd be the S for me. Yeah, as me as well. If I kind of came into a bunch of expendable money and like say I didn't have any kind of gaming console right now and I was looking to get into it, I might get the Xbox One X and a 4K TV, but I would maybe get an S. I cannot think of an exclusive that has come into just the Xbox that I couldn't get on the PC. Alan says, going back to the angry gamers, I feel like we're so coddled now. Back in the day, the regular public wasn't involved in the development of games. The developers didn't have to report to every little thing. That is very, very true. We definitely see things as they go, as the hype machine is cranked up very early. We see a lot of previews. We get a lot of access. The publishers like this, though. They like to have that connection with gamers. They're constantly touting. I mean, EA especially, if you look at their E3 show, they tout the community all the time. And, I mean, whether that's just fan lip service, like whatever they're trying to do with it, they talk about it and they try to connect and they talk about the games. They want to have that conversation. For them, it's advertising. So, I mean, you know what? Even for them, this to make a story that this has been the most downvoted Reddit comment in the history of Reddit could still be good publicity for them, because their ideal fan for Battlefront is a very casual fan and Star Wars fans. So if somebody doesn't even play video games and happens to see this story, they might pop into it. Maybe they played video games when they were younger. Maybe they're that perfect age where they grew up with Star Wars or grew up again with Star Wars in the 90s like I did because of the re-releases, and played video games, and maybe they haven't been playing video games as an adult, and they see this big story and they go, yeah, that could be kind of fun. It looks great. I know a few friends of mine that were that same story with Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2015, where they bought a PS4 just to play Battlefront, and then saw how much the season pass was, and we're pretty pissed about it because it's, I mean, like Alan, you're saying that people are so coddled now. It's, I mean, back then it's not like there were the same practices and people are angrier now. You were getting more for your gaming purchase back then. And I mean, the process of putting out DLC, that was pretty widely accepted because, for something like Morrowind, you'd buy that on the PC, and then you'd buy sort of $15, $20 expansions, get a new island, you get some quests, it would add on. Now, because they're so transparent about marketing everything, you can see that they're developing a lot of this DLC in conjunction with the main game, and then they're just sort of locking things off. I mean, people have sort of hacked into some of the games, and they realize that the DLC is already on the game. It's already there. They're gonna hide that behind a paywall. So they've already put on all the money for the development. And I know that it costs a lot of money to make games. It costs more to make games than ever, and games are actually cheaper than ever because they've barely gone up in price and inflation has risen. But the costs of developing, especially with like the jump to HD visuals, games are very, very expensive. So I know that they have to make money. It just seems disingenuous to market something as play Star Wars, but not Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. You can be Stormtrooper J first off. Out saying, and so a game came out and people wouldn't rage about a little thing. They would just accept it and live with it. No patches for anything to level things out. It's praised as is, praised or criticized as is. Also, but I mean, the games I think it's sort of it's a circular reasoning there, because I think not having the ability to patch, say, a cartridge game or like a PS2 game, they wouldn't be patching. I don't think the original Xbox and PS2 games ever got patches, and if they did, no, they didn't, because those systems would originally not even come out with hard drives. The hard drives are sort of added in that span. Oh, the original Xbox did. Anyways, they had to make the game right the first time, so people were bitching less because the game worked. You didn't turn on your copy of Mario 64 and it wasn't broken, and broken games were just as harshly criticized back then. Now, developers will work and work and work so they can ship the game, and then once they ship the game, they immediately get to work on the day one patch. So they're in this race from when they ship it, when it goes to gold. When the game goes gold and they ship it, and then they have this like couple week window or month or however long it is of working on that day one patch, which could be like 10 gigabytes of size, which, man, it's just so big. Morrowind for the original Xbox was less than 1 gigabyte. It was a very small game. A lot of games at that time were 4 gigabytes because they had more voice acting and visuals. So, I mean, I don't think it's unfair. I don't think the consumers are being unfair at all. And in this case, I don't think they're being unfair. I think it's that why are 2 of the main components, why are the 2 with probably the most popular characters in the game locked behind it? It's like, you can put out Street Fighter 5 is a pretty good example, and you can have these other characters being unlocked because it's a cheaper game, or it's a free-to-play game, and you have to put in lots of hours of time, or you have to buy the extra characters if you would prefer to save your time. But you wouldn't lock Ryu and Ken behind the paywall. You wouldn't say, here's Street Fighter, but you can't use Ryu, Ken, or Chun-Li. You can use Birdie. You have to play as Birdie for 40 hours. And unless you want to just give us $10, then you can have Ryu. So $10 or play as Birdie for 40 hours. If you don't know who Birdie is, he's like a Zangief style character from the Street Fighter Alpha series. Better get good at 360-degree control movements for those inputs, baby. Alan says, I suppose with the evolution of technology, it allows for even more errors to be created. That makes sense. More errors to be created. Well, yes. I mean, they are balancing more. There's more spinning plates. There's more going on in a game. I think the biggest jump, like I've said many times, is that was when the PS3 and the 360 came out and games had to be HD. All of a sudden, your visuals department needed a lot more resources, needed more people. You needed to spend more time, more money on higher resolution games. Where on the PS2 was this beautiful time of 3D gaming had already kind of been cemented with the PS1 and the N64 for the home console market. PS2 sort of took that to the next level, but just had to polish things. And I think that's why we got a lot of really interesting gameplay experiences in that PS2 era. The whole Grand Theft Auto 3 revolution that sort of changed everything and really influenced, obviously, just about everybody. Everybody was making serious things, open world games, and realizing how you could piece a game together. But that's going to do it for this quick little Game Think Talk Live. We'll be back. Well, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and I think we're going to play our very first episode. Oh, no, we'll wait. Actually, tomorrow morning we'll do Assassin's Creed 2. That's how we'll keep it going. Legend of Dragoon, Assassin's Creed 2, and then we'll play Lost Odyssey. Unless I look at the video library and realize that the order is off. But we'll be playing one of those. Assassin's Creed 2 or Lost Odyssey. Then once we clear one of the games off the plate, we'll be adding in probably a Tales of game or a Kingdom Hearts game. Pirate King. Damn it, why is it that I always show up at the end of a stream? Well, I enabled VOD again, so you can check that out, and you can rewind back. This was a news little update, a little chat about gaming, the state of gaming and all that. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. If I get some time later on tonight, I might pop on as well. Who knows? If I'm free, maybe in the evening, I can hit up Alan and play some StarCraft. Alan is playing Legend of Oni and lots of Heroes of the Storm over on his channel as well. So thanks, Alan, Jeremy, for chiming in, Pirate King for showing up, even if you showed up late. Glad to have you here. Fenkin Dreamer as well. I will see you for sure tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, with either Assassin's Creed 2 or Lost Odyssey, or I'll try to sneak on later on tonight, but who knows? I'm going to take off. Thank you very, very, very much. You have a good day, good night, whatever. Bye for now.